Hey guys, welcome back to Nelly Nummies. Now, do you want to know something that's really satisfying? Making your own yogurt. Yeah, I'm a little weird and I like making my own yogurt, but it really is good and it's really easy and it can be quite cheap, or at least cheaper than buying those individual cups at the grocery store. And it's just really satisfying making it yourself. And it turns out it's really easy to do too. I mean, especially when you have a handy dandy instant pot like this, it does all the work for you other than just you have to stir it once in a while. So, not hard. So, what we're going to need to get started on making yogurt is half a gallon of milk. We also need 2 cups of heavy cream, about 4 tablespoons of honey. Use whatever honey you have or what you like. You can also use agave or other types of syrup. It might affect the flavor of the yogurt a little bit, so just experiment a little bit, see what you like. About half a cup to 3/4 a cup of granulated sugar. We're also going to need unflavored gelatin. This is the important part. You need unflavored gelatin. You can find this wherever you get your regular jello or gelatin or pudding. There's usually not too many different brands of unflavored gelatin, so you're gonna have to really look. But key thing, unflavored. You're also gonna want your little flavoring of sorts. I'm using vanilla. And another key thing for making yogurt, you're gonna need a starter. So the starter is what already has the bacteria in it, and the bacteria is what makes yogurt yogurt. It's healthy bacteria, so it's safe. I'm using some of the yogurt from my last batch of yogurt that I made, but when you're starting from scratch, go ahead and buy like a cup of plain or vanilla, but I recommend plain just starting out so you can control the flavoring of your yogurt. Or Greek yogurt you can also use. And you're gonna want like 4 ounces of that. So that's pretty much all we need to make yogurt. We're gonna use our Instant Pot to make yogurt today. And you can see there's a you can see there is a yogurt setting on there that we're gonna use. And we're gonna start with by adding our half a gallon of milk to our Instant Pot. So half a gallon of milk, and then 2 cups of heavy cream. There we go. Stir it a little bit. And then now that this is stirred, our next step will be to go plug this in. Now that we have our Instant Pot plugged in, we are going to turn it on to yogurt right here. We're gonna press this again, and we're gonna go to boil. We're gonna bring up the temperature of our cream and milk to about 180 degrees, and that will take about 10 to 15 minutes to bring it up to temperature. Now our yogurt is done with its boil setting, so now we're gonna take the lid off. And you might see that there's this little bit of skin layer, kind of this thick layer. That's nothing to worry about. That's something you can either skim off, or I just usually mix in, and it's perfectly fine. So give it a good stir. See, skin layer's all gone. Next step is we're gonna add our sugar and gelatin that I mixed in here already. It's all mixed together. But before we can dump this into our yogurt, we need to temper it. And that includes taking a little bit of this hot milk, pour it in there, don't get any hairs in there. This just helps the gelatin and sugar break down a little bit so that it mixes into the milk better. And you don't have just clumps of gelatin floating around in there or on the bottom of your bowl. Next step is to add the dissolved sugar and gelatin into the yogurt. Slowly stir it in, mixing. There we go. Get as much of that out of the container here. Give it a nice stir. There we go. So now our sugar is incorporated. Next is we will cool this down to about 108 degrees. Could be a little more, a little less. We just want to get cooled down to the temperature that the yogurt will be cooking at. So I got my yogurt in the ice bath, and we're gonna try and bring it down to temperature to between 108 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, I'm at about 106 degrees now, between 104 to 106. So that's perfect for me. I'm gonna take this out, take the yogurt out, dry the bottom off, and then we're gonna put it back into the Instant Pot. So now the next part's pretty easy. We're gonna do the same thing we did with the sugar and gelatin, and we're gonna take our little handy dandy cup here, our yogurt starter. I'm using yogurt from my last batch of yogurt that I've kept in the freezer. I'm gonna put this yogurt starter in our cup, and then we're gonna take our honey or whatever liquid sweetener that you choose to use, like agave or stevia or something. We're gonna pour that into the cup as well. All right, got the honey and yogurt in the cup. We're gonna mix them together to the best we can. Now this is also prime time to add your flavorings, such as a vanilla extract, or you can do almond or coconut, whatever floats your boat. I like to do vanilla just to keep it a very basic base layer. I do about 1 to 2 teaspoons. Teaspoons, not tablespoons, that would be a lot. 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Stir that in. And now, you'll be familiar with this part now because we did it with the sugar and gelatin. We're gonna temper it by scooping some of this cooled down milk into our cup here. Bring the yogurt to the same temperature as our warmed milk to make it easier for it to mix in. Give it a good little stir. Good little stir. And then pour it into the milk. There we go. Mix it together. And if you added flavoring like vanilla, you should smell it by now. It's gonna smell wonderful. Next step is pretty easy. From this point on, we're gonna let the Instant Pot do all the work for us. But before we start that, let's put the lid back on. So what we need to do is turn back on, press the yogurt button. It's still on our boil setting from when we boiled it. We're gonna press the yogurt button again, and then one more time. And then we're gonna cook it on normal for 7 to 8 hours. And when it starts cooking here, it will beep and this will go 0 like this, and it will count up towards the time that you set it for. So I will see you guys in 7 to 8 hours with our completed yogurt. Have fun in the meantime. All right, it's been 8 hours since I started my yogurt. It's all nice and creamy and cooked through. Now you can put your yogurt in a large airtight container and refrigerate it. Or you can do what I'm gonna do and divide it up into some small portion control containers so that it's kind of like the yogurt cups that you get at the grocery store. Also, if you can't find little twist top cups like this, you can just use little mason jars. If anything, that's cuter. So here is our yogurt. As you can see, it's a little thicker than when we first started. It's still gonna be runny due to the fact that it hasn't had time to chill. As it chills in the refrigerator, it's gonna thicken up more and stabilize thanks to our gelatin that we put in there. So when I'm at this stage, when it's just cooked like this, I like to take my little cups here. And you can also use mason jars as well if you want to do individual servings. Or if you just all like one flavor of yogurt, you can just put it in one large Tupperware container and mixing your fill-ins that way, or leave it plain vanilla. And then you have simple homemade cherry yogurt. And then I'm also gonna make a fresh blueberry yogurt. Ain't it pretty? Well, maybe not pretty, but it's tasty. And then all you have to do, put the lid on and put it in the refrigerator. Simple as that. Now that we got our yogurt assembled, we're gonna give it a little taste. I'm gonna try my blueberry one that I mixed up. It's nice and tangy, so you'll notice if you cook it longer, it's gonna have a little bit more of a tang, the yogurt will. But it's still gonna be really nice and creamy, especially thanks to that heavy cream that we put in there. But it's really tasty. I hope you guys like it too. And if your first batch you find that you don't like the flavoring and how things go, well, you can always add in more flavoring or try again and experiment with your next batch. And remember, save some of your yogurt for the next batch. You can freeze some of the yogurt for a little starter for your next batch, and it works out perfect. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys get to try this out and enjoy it and have fun with it. And if you have any comments or questions or suggestions for the next video, please put them in the comments below, and I look forward to talking with you guys. And remember, please be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and have some yogurt. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!